Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. We've got something on Sancho, we've got something on Pogba again, Angel Gomez, Bernardeschi, Moussa Dembele, but we're going to start off with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer versus Jose Mourinho. It's on. The Premier League is looking like it will be back on the 20th of June, maybe the 13th of June, but more likely the 20th of June, kicking back off with Friday night football, Manchester United visiting Tottenham. Remember, this game was meant to happen just before the lockdown. This game will be the game that kicks it all off again. Football back. And look, I know and respect the fact that people are in different headspaces at the moment. And I think the headspace is that you can't play football at the moment. I know Germany are playing on Saturday. The Bundesliga is back. We in England are not ready for that. And we might not be ready in a month, but we're looking to do it in a month. But what an appetizer that is. Manchester United visiting Spurs, first game. And look, we know it's going to be a short season. This is the exciting thing. If we can get football back, this is the exciting thing. A 9-game season for United to go and get top 4. Maybe the Europa League will happen, maybe it won't. But certainly to go and get top 4. And I tell you what, it could be... Well, that first game back's huge, isn't it? You worry about fitness levels, you worry about sharpness, you worry about playing potentially away, which we'll talk about in a minute. But that Spurs game, you come back and you win that and the momentum kicks in. You come back and you lose that and Spurs with Son and Kane and Bergwijn back will be a stronger outfit, but exciting. And that little bit of excitement, that little bit of hope, I think that's all those of us who want football back want at the moment. So that's looking good. There was a meeting yesterday and it's Mourinho's asked for it to be put back from the 13th to the 20th because he feels that players need 4 weeks of proper training before they can come back and play. So that's looking like that. And I think that extra week actually will help many people's mindset around football coming back anyway, because an extra week obviously takes us another week from where we are at the moment. Also coming out from Sky sources that there are, I think it was a club source saying that there are some players that are a bit uncertain about playing, but the vast majority want to play. And there's even talk now that this neutral ground thing will not happen, that there's been discussions with the government and the Premier League and the police, and there seems to be an agreement that they can play at their own ground. So Old Trafford would be for United games. The Spurs game would be played at Spurs. Obviously no fans there, but they're looking to get rid of these neutral ground things. So interesting, exciting, something to hope for. Let's wait and see. We know we're going to see the Bundesliga back on Saturday. Let's hope that we can work towards having the Premier League back, because I don't know what's going to happen. I know a lot of people are like, oh, let's just wait till September. Let's start a new season. I personally think we might have a second spike globally with this pandemic in the winter, because that's what happens with normal flu. So I just think if we can get this Premier League season done, and then at least we can say, look, we got that done, let's see what we can do with a bigger season. So let's see what happens with that. It's interesting on Mourinho and Solskjaer though, because just before I go to the Sancho news, it's interesting on Mourinho and Solskjaer, because I still think, and I've said this a few times, I still think there is, and it happened with Mourinho with Van Gaal, we still get some transfer stories that are sort of rolling over from Mourinho's time at United. Remember, like a week ago, we were linked with Meunier. Meunier is linked heavily with Spurs, and I just think this is maybe it's laziness from the mainstream media, or actually maybe it's the agent of the player using previous interest of United to stoke up the price. I don't know. But Meunier isn't a target for United. He was a year ago. We got Wan-Bissaka. He's not a target for United now. He doesn't fit in with what United want to do. Wan-Bissaka's here for a long time. We've got young fullbacks coming forward. We don't need a fullback that's nearly 30. Mourinho is interested in Meunier. That's why the story around United's there. We've had it with Milinkovic-Savic as well. Milinkovic-Savic is not a target for Manchester United. Whether he should be or not, he's not. But again, we get United mentioned, and I think this goes back to Mourinho got very close to signing him. Mourinho's now at Spurs, so I think Milinkovic there. And also Koulibaly. You know, Mourinho offered £80 million for Koulibaly when he was Manchester United manager. He keeps getting linked to United, more likely for Spurs. So I think that there are still some players that we get linked to because of Mourinho being in charge, but he's at Spurs now. So interesting just to always observe that. If there's a player like Lozano was a player that Mourinho was looking at. He's not a player that Ollie's looking at. So, you know, just thought I'd drop that in there. Obviously, Dortmund are coming back this weekend. That means they're talking to the press. That means there'll be some questions about Sancho, and there was yesterday. Simon Stone spoke about it for the BBC, talking about the market, and what they've basically said in Dortmund is that they, well, I'll read you the quote. We want to keep our players as long as possible. The less clubs interested in Jadon, the less we would complain. And this is obviously a very much a global statement from Dortmund about the fact that the transfer window isn't as vibrant and won't be as vibrant as it would have been without this lockdown. There's going to be a lot of clubs losing money. There's going to be a lot of clubs who can't spend money. And Dortmund would like to be in that situation whereby Jadon Sancho isn't being offered opportunities to leave Dortmund so that they can keep him. Unfortunately for them, and fortunately for us, Manchester United do have the money. If the Premier League comes back, they will have the money to sign Jadon Sancho. If it doesn't, I don't think we will. So that statement from Dortmund just leaves the door open, and if anything, it invites Manchester United into the door, because what they're saying is we're hoping that a lot of clubs won't be able to afford him and won't be able to come and get him, and we won't complain about that. But from our point of view, the less clubs interested who can afford him, the better for us. How are Real Madrid or Barcelona going to afford Jadon Sancho when they can't afford Paul Pogba? And the same goes with Chelsea. I mean, have they got the money to do it? I don't know. But the interesting thing for me here is that with regards to Jadon Sancho and to Manchester United, they're in a similar situation as I've said before. Jadon Sancho, still people don't talk about this. He's got the same amount of time left on his contract as Paul Pogba. In a year's time, he's got 1 year left on his contract. That will halve his value with a year left on his contract. So if he won't sign a new contract, it makes it very difficult for Dortmund. Dortmund's ideal scenario is that Jadon Sancho signs a new contract and they maybe sell him next year for massive money. But if he doesn't sign a new contract, it makes it quite difficult for them. Just mentioned Paul Pogba there. Bernardeschi linked with us again. I mean, I like Bernardeschi. I remember when Juventus bought Bernardeschi, and I really do like him. I think it was Fiorentina he came in from. And I really do like Bernardeschi, and he was a player at the time that I quite fancied United going for. But the issue with Bernardeschi is that he's not what we need if we're signing Sancho. He's a wide player, and I mean, I would take him, but not at the detriment of bringing a Jadon Sancho in. And imagine if you let Pogba go to Juventus and you bring Bernardeschi in. You lose Pogba, you don't get Sancho, and you get Bernardeschi. It just doesn't make any sense. But Juventus, we're going to keep seeing this. We're going to keep seeing this Juventus effort to get Paul Pogba and offering up players. But one, as I said last night, they can't afford Pogba's wages, and two, they haven't got anything that we want. Like, they really haven't. I look at that Juventus side, and there's one player that I would go, yeah, let's take him. I mean, obviously Ronaldo, but Bentancur, I quite like him as a holding midfielder. I think he's got something about Carrick about him, and I think he can be better than that. They're not going to let him go because he's one of the, he's a fantastic player, and he's a young player as well. And I mean, maybe De Ligt, but they're not going to let that happen either. So I don't see anything happening with that. Angel Gomez is quite interesting. I was reading this morning that Manchester United are potentially going to set a May the 21st deadline for Angel Gomez to make his mind up about the contract that they're offering him. This does not look good. I'm not going to say that Angel Gomez won't stay at Manchester United, but this doesn't look good, and it's never looked good. And the indication I got back in January was that Gomez isn't happy at United, isn't happy that he's not been given the opportunities, and wants to leave. And I don't see what we've done since then to change that. And I'm going to moan, actually. Why are United offering ultimatums to a player who has been out of contract now for 5 months and was coming up towards being out of contract for a year? We've had 18 months to sort this out, and we're now trying to flex our muscles with a month out from when he can leave for free. I mean, I don't see it. I think we've messed it up again. I think the same thing happened with Mata last year, but Mata stayed, and the reason Mata stayed is because no one would offer him the wages. With Angel, Angel Gomez is going to go the same way as Ander Herrera. He's going to have options. He's not going to have to settle. Like Chong, I think, has settled at United because he couldn't get anything else of the value of the wage that he's got at United. But I think Angel Gomez will get offers better than United, and I think Angel Gomez will go. And you've got to ask the question, what United... If you're Angel Gomez, and I'm going to be absolutely blunt here, and you've got Solskjaer saying, I want you to stay, I want to build you a future. If you're Angel Gomez, you would say, well, you've had me for a year. What have you done with me in the last year? I know I've been injured a little bit, but you've kept picking Lingard, you've kept picking Pereira. They've done nothing in that position. It's my position. You've given chances to Greenwood, and he's been brilliant. And maybe I would have needed a little bit more patience, but I feel I should have had the opportunities. Why should I trust you that you're going to give me them opportunities now? I'm going to go and try something new, and I think that's what's going to happen with Angel Gomez, which is a shame, but I think that's what will happen. So look, get in there. Let me know what you're thinking about football coming back. That football back for me is great. I'm looking forward to the Bundesliga, of course, but if the Premier League can do it and they can do it like the Bundesliga, I'm really excited about that, because that's the creme de la creme of football that we watch, the Premier League and obviously Manchester United. But imagine if we can work towards getting this football back, and the first game is going to be Solskjaer, Mourinho. I mean, the excitement we're going to have when that actually gets confirmed is fantastic. So I'm really, really excited about that. Something else I'm excited about as well, link in the video description, United Stand FC. We've got a football team. We played in the Brothers League last year, and we've played AFTV and a few other teams, of course. We don't know whether we're going to be able to play games this season because of the pandemic. So what we're going to do is we're creating a United Stand FC digital team, which means that we're going to set up a United Stand FC sort of pro clubs team, and we'll be taking on other people like AFTV. If you want to be part of this, we're running a tournament. First tournament kicks off tomorrow lunchtime, Friday lunchtime. It's on Xbox, it's on PS4. Links in the video descriptions. It's being run by eSoccer Championships. A £5 entry fee, but there is cash prizes to be won. But the best thing about all of this is that if you go deep into the tournament, you could be selected for the United Stand FC Pro Clubs team, and there is going to be a series made of that. It's going to be, it's going to be a bit like the X Factor sort of thing. The best players will, get put through their paces. They'll get in the team, and then we'll be putting the games out. So it's going to be like a proper series to get involved in, and as many of you as you can get involved in that. It's worldwide, doesn't matter where you are, as long as you've got a decent internet connection and you can play Xbox, PS4, FIFA 20. Links in the video description, and of course, you might pull me or Flex out. I'm going to be in it, Flex is going to be in it, and I think Rance is in it, and he's on Xbox as well. So link in the video description for that. I'll speak to you all later.